Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Isaac from Guns for Everyone. First things first, we got to light the candle for Santo Edgar and pray. Please, Santo Edgar, help this video to not suck. All right. It's funny? I actually keep this on my desk, and this fucker is looking at me all day, and that's a real judgy face, isn't it? That's like that's a dad face right there. Like you just dropped the ice cream sundae on the brand new kitchen floor because you were trying to carry your sundae and your Xbox controller at the same time. So, all right. It's been a little bit since I did a video. I did a video on Phoenix when I was there, kind of on the learning process. And coincidentally, Edgar did a video kind of on the same thing, real close to that time. Edgar's been doing his gun walk videos. I highly recommend that you check those out. The purpose of this channel is to supplement the information that we cover in our concealed carry classes. That's the main purpose of this channel, and that's the main purpose of the main GFE channel, Guns for Everyone, on YouTube. The main purpose of this channel is not for sponsors. I'm sorry, sponsors. Subscribers. I was watching some other dumbass YouTuber pimping out his sponsors. Not that I'll never have a sponsor, but it annoys me. It's very hard for me to accept that that's a part of being on YouTube. Subscribers. I don't do this channel for subscribers. I'm not here for your subscription. I'm not here for your like. I am here for your comments. If you disagree, especially I'm here for your comments. The development of ideas does not come from everybody agreeing with each other. Now, in that disagreement, probably one of us is wrong. So we both need to be prepared that one person is actually going to present better information and win the argument. I don't argue on YouTube for ego. I don't think I do. I don't believe that I do. I might be doing that, but I think that the reason why I argue with people in comments on YouTube is because I'm really just trying to hash out the best answer possible. I'm testing my ideas against other people, and I want to engage in that conversation. So I want your comments on the channel. I don't give a fuck about your subscriptions. Guns for Everyone has a podcast. I don't know if you all know that, and you can go check that out on the main Guns for Everyone channel on YouTube. And I'm working on Edgar to get him to put an actual RSS feed out so it actually gets picked up by all the podcast clients. But we have been doing a podcast for a long time, and I had to take a break for a few weeks. But we'll be back on Thursday. We'll be back tomorrow for the podcast. Speaking of podcasts, I was on the Active Self-Protection podcast a few weeks ago, and I recommend that podcast. I'm going to be totally honest. I'm not a big fan of the Active Self-Protection YouTube channel because I used to be a fan, but the more I learned, the more I started to understand that most of the talkie that comes from that channel is the wrong perspective or wrong information. I've been considering doing the same thing, although not nearly as polished. But I don't know. It's a very tricky thing to do to actually realistically break down those types of videos. We do it a little bit on our podcast, and we've done it more lately. But it's really easy to wander into the wrong territory breaking down those videos. But the podcast, the Active Self-Protection podcast, what I enjoy from that podcast is hearing people talk about their own personal experience. And also, it provides background, something you're not going to see in a video. And it talks about outcome, again, not something you're going to see in a video. And the podcast is really open to all kinds of emergency situations, which, the chances you're going to need to shoot somebody and that you'll kill them are pretty low. But the chances that you're going to end up in some kind of dynamic critical incident, whether it's malicious or not, it happens. And it happened to me recently, and I talked about it on the Active Self-Protection podcast. So if you just search for Active Self-Protection podcast, you'll find it. There's several years of archive there for you to binge on, and there's some good stories in there. So, all right, where have I been? I mentioned I had to take a break from podcasts. I have obviously not made videos for a while. I don't know how much detail I'm going to go into, but I'm just going to say that I lost somebody very close to me recently, and it has really affected me. And it's made it hard for me to do anything except the things that I absolutely have to do. So I haven't felt like turning the camera on. I haven't felt like talking. I haven't felt like any of that stuff. Um, all I'm going to say, I guess, for the benefit of you guys who are watching, you ladies and gentlemen, is check on your people. Check on the people that are important to you, the ones that are going through some kind of a crisis, and don't be afraid to ask those difficult questions when you need to. Better to err on the side of being too pushy or nosy than to err on the side of not doing that. So, all right, enough about that for now. Maybe I might talk about that more in the future, but right now it's not time. Another piece of news, literal piece of news. Guns for Everyone was on the news. Denver Channel 7 reached out to us on July 1st to talk about some of the new changes, specifically to the concealed carry training law. They put it up on their YouTube channel, and I will put the video in the description of this so you can go and watch it. I appreciate Denver Channel 7 reaching out to us and trying to get our perspective. I think they did a shitty job of actually putting the story together. The quotes that they took from me, they cut short basically, and I didn't really get a chance to make the point I was trying to make when I was saying the words. On top of that, when they shared it with their affiliate down in Colorado Springs, their affiliate posted it on social media and attributed one of my quotes to Sheriff Reams up in Weld County. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I want you to understand that you can't trust the news for accurate information. I'm not shitting on the news. I'm just saying, have you ever had the experience where somebody tells you a story and then you go tell that story to somebody else and everybody loves the story, and then the original person who told you the story hears you tell it and they're like, that's not what happened? That's the news. That's how the news works. Every single time Guns for Everyone has been on the news, there is at least one part of that presentation that is seriously wrong. Things were quoted that weren't said. Facts were out of place. Facts were wrong. Every time. And if I know a lot about a certain topic and then I see that topic presented in the news, I'm likely to see all the problems with that. But that should lead you to understanding that the rest of what you're hearing on the news is almost certainly just as flawed as the one thing that you saw, that you knew was flawed on the news. And I'm not saying this because I want people to hate the news and, the fake news and all that stuff. I want you to understand that when you see self-defense cases presented in the news, you are not getting anywhere near the whole story. And you can't use that as a way of understanding how self-defense works from a physical point of view, from a necessity point of view, and from a legal point of view. If you go read the news about some self-defense case and you're like, that's why I do this, you're wrong. You're just wrong. Why? Because your source is wrong. And you're making a judgment about something that's just fucking wrong. So don't do that. Don't use the news as a resource for understanding how self-defense works. I use the news as a resource for understanding that things happened. So if somebody shoots an intruder in their home and the news comes out and says they shot an intruder in their home and the police aren't saying much about it. Okay, well, I know that there was a shooting involving what could have been an intruder. If I hear the news about a road rage incident, then we can say, oh, there was another road rage incident involving a firearm, but I don't know who was at fault. I don't know who deserved it, meaning deserved. When I say deserved it, I mean like if you attacked somebody and then you got hurt because you attacked somebody, then you deserve that. But I don't know who's who. So that's the big warning here is don't use the news to inform you on self-defense. Big Big problem. Speaking of news stories about self-defense, Kayla Giles, if you're familiar with Kayla Giles, she was recently had her conviction for her self-defense shooting overturned. And this was down in Louisiana, pretty high-profile case. And you're going to see a lot of YouTubers talking about it. And almost all of them are wrong. Just understand that. I'm not doing a video on it right now. I haven't done enough research to be able to speak intelligently. I did do a video on Kayla Giles a little while ago, several months ago. And everything I said in that video is still relevant. There's a new development, but I don't think that new development changes anything I said about that case in that video. So if you're interested, it's one of my more popular videos. So if you just go to my channel and look for popular videos, it'll be near the top. It's a little bit long, but if you're interested in a difficult, juicy piece of gun law and USCCA and self-defense insurance and all that stuff, it's a good video. I recommend that you watch it. Okay, let's get to an actual piece of content. I'm really fitting a lot into the video just because I feel like I have to catch up. Let's talk about a useful piece of information for you as a self-defender. If you're going to come to a class, please, for the love of God, read the class description and the required equipment carefully. There is a reason everything is on that list. And it's your responsibility to do your best to meet those requirements when you show up for a class. And the reason I'm talking about this is because I was talking with Edgar face-to-face. We don't see each other face-to-face super often, but we were talking on Monday. And we were talking about the struggles of having people show up to classes completely unprepared for what they're about to do. I don't mean like you forgot your ear pro. I mean you didn't tell anybody that you were not going to bring a gun to the gun class. And you show up just expecting that equipment will be there for you. Or I'm shocked at how many people don't seem to understand the necessity of a belt in a class like that. I do have a little bit of patience and tolerance for understanding that, one, budget is a factor. And people are like, well, I can't really afford 4 magazines for my gun. I understand the magazines for my gun are $55 a piece. So if I had to bring 4 of them to a class, that's well over $200. But at the same time, really the best thing you can do in those situations is communicate ahead of time. Just ask, hey, these are my constraints. This is the problem that I'm having right now, and I don't want to come to the class unprepared. What should I do given the fact that I'm a broke motherfucker and I don't have everything on the list? As opposed to just showing up and being like, I had no idea. You didn't have any idea when you signed up? You didn't read the fucking thing where it said everything in there? This is one of the things that we've dealt with for almost 14 years of how to make sure that you read what you're supposed to read before you come to a class. And this is also helpful to you even if you only ever come to one class, because when you come to a class and learn what you need to make yourself successful in the class, you start to better understand what you need to make yourself successful if you're going to carry a gun in public. The understanding of a good holster, the difference in how the class goes when you have a shitty holster and when you have a decent holster. Understanding the necessity for more than one magazine for your. You don't need 15 magazines for your gun, but 2 or 3, even if they are $55, 2 or 3 is a reasonable thing to have for your firearm. They get lost, that happens. They get damaged, they malfunction sometimes, and if you're just stuck with the one mag, now you're stuck with a firearm that's not operable. So please, for the love of God, read the class descriptions. And this goes for any class. It's not just our class, any class. And if you don't have what's necessary, contact the instructor and ask your questions so that this can get dealt with before the class. When I show up to the class, I have a bunch of things I need to do, a few things I want to do, and then I've got to plan around the chaos that's going to happen when you have 20 people showing up for a class and you know that a few of them didn't read. And I have to try to predict what you didn't read and what you didn't prepare for. And, I got to try to bring enough equipment to make sure I'm ready for that stuff when it happens. But that's A, a huge pain in the ass, two, chaotic, and three, completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary if you do your part. So I guess that's my little rant. Thank you guys for watching. I hope to be back on schedule, making more videos. I hope to see you on the live stream of our podcast tomorrow. It's going to start at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. And if you don't catch it on the live stream, you can always just watch it afterwards on the Guns for Everyone YouTube channel. Most of them they do post on my channel under the live section of the channel. But sometimes there's a glitch and it doesn't work. But you can always catch it on the Guns for Everyone YouTube channel. Appreciate the hell out of you guys. I will catch you later.